Our objective for today is I can simplify expressions by following the order of operations, the distributive property, and combining like terms. I know that we did this last week, but based on the exit tickets, some of us are really struggling with some of this, and that is totally fine. We were just starting, and now that our schedules have changed a little bit, I think it'll be good to just go over this a little bit more. Okay. So, quick review. What are the order of operations? So, order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. And both of these are from left to right. Realize parentheses can be like this. They can be brackets. They can be this curly braces. Okay, all of those are different types of parentheses. Distributive property is when you are taking a number on the outside of a parentheses and you're distributing it to inside, and by distributing you're multiplying. So this would become 6 plus 12x. And then like terms are terms that are exactly the same. So if I have 3x squared y plus 4x squared y squared minus 12x squared y, my only like terms are the 3x squared y and the minus 12x squared y. Yes, they both have an x, they all have x's and y's in it, but those are the ones that are exactly the same. This one, the middle term is different because of the y being squared. And again, we did that all last week, so if you missed last week, you either got to go back and rewatch those videos and catch up, or you should do that because there was homework also. So, error analysis. We're going to do some error analysis today, and then you're just going to have more time to practice stuff that we did from Friday. So you're going to read through the problem. And the way I like to do error analysis is I like to work through it on my own, because sometimes just looking at the problem, I can't see the mistake because I'm not thinking about how I would do it. I'm just trying to look through it, and sometimes it's even harder. And then you can compare. Now, will that always work? Because you might make a mistake, but that's probably the best way to do it for longer problems especially. So for example, this one's not that hard to figure out and to do and to see the error, but I still want to work through it on my own. So in your notebook, you should be writing -7 times -2 plus x. And then you should be working through it on your own. So I distribute the -7 to the -2 and to the x. Well, -7 times -2 is positive 14. -7 times -x is -7x. So the error in this one was that they made the 14 negative, and it should have been positive. Okay, this one, again, probably don't have to write it out, but I want you to. So write down 17y minus 15y. These are like terms, so I can combine them, and I get 2, and I need to keep the y after because it's still 2y. So this person forgot to put the y. Okay, again, that one was a pretty easy one. Okay, now here's a little bit more steps. All right, so again, I would write this down. 8x plus 3 minus 5x minus 9. My like terms are 8x and minus 5x, and then 3 and minus 9. So 8 minus 5 would be 3x. 3 minus 9 would be -6. Okay. You subtract and you keep the sign of the larger number, which would be 9. So they forgot to make that into a negative. And a lot of the mistakes I think you were making were actually with negatives last week. Okay. So this one is longer now. All right. So this is definitely one where you should be writing it off to the side. 4 times 11 minus So the first thing we're going to do is what is in the parentheses. Okay, so 4 times 11 minus 55 minus 3 to the 5th, which I do think 3 to the 5th is 243, but I'm going to check it. Yes, that is 243. All right, the smallest parentheses still aren't gone, so I still need to do this. So 4 times 11 minus 55 minus 243. And I think this was actually your exit ticket question, and there were quite a few wrong on this, and that's okay. So next, in the parentheses, or in the brackets, I need to divide. Okay, because division comes before subtraction. So 4 times 11, oops. Okay, so when I divide, a negative divided by a positive will stay a negative. Okay, and then 188 divided by 4 is 47, so negative 47. I'm keeping that in parentheses because it is a negative. Now I do what's in the brackets, so 4 times, add the opposite, that's 58. And then lastly, times 4 is 232. Okay, so now if we look through their steps, we wrote it down. The first step, we did exactly the same as them. We got that 243. The next step, same thing. We wrote minus a negative. It would have probably been better to keep that parentheses on there. Then they just went and subtracted. Okay, we didn't actually divide first, which is what should have happened. We should have been dividing. This was similar to your X ticket. I don't think it was exactly your X ticket. Okay, so here is where the mistake happened. Okay, so on this problem, it is still order of operations. Okay, but now we have to substitute numbers in. So the first thing I'll do is substitute the numbers in. Negative 3 times 5 minus 6 squared plus 6. Okay, so let's see. Did we do that step correctly compared to them? Yes, they have the same thing. I forgot the squared. There it is. Okay, so now we need to do the smallest parentheses first, which would be in here. So negative 3 times negative 1 squared plus 6 squared. All right. Then in parentheses, exponents comes before adding. So negative 3 times 1 plus 6 squared. Then we add 1 plus 6, negative 3 times. I'm going to keep the parentheses or the brackets or whatever you want to do because we're multiplying and we still have to square. Then negative 3 times 49. And then negative 3 times 49 is 147. So my answer should have been negative 147. So if we look through their steps, all of them look the same as ours until we get here. Okay. Somehow we got to negative 18 squared and we put a minus here. And obviously that is incorrect because you shouldn't have an 18 if you're adding 1 plus 6. And the other thing that is really incorrect here is that we added this subtraction instead of realizing this is still multiplication. Okay. All right. So you're going to complete the worksheet that's linked in the agenda for today. When finished, you're going to check your answer key with the answers. You're going to submit a picture of your completed and graded assignment. If you don't finish this in class, it will be homework. We're actually going to make today all practice time. If you finish early, you should go back to the worksheet you should go back to the order of operation worksheet from Friday and Thursday, and you should do the other problems that I didn't ask you to do so that you can get extra practice. We are going to quiz you over this just to see where we're at again Wednesday. Okay, we have 30 minutes, and we're going to take like a 30-minute quiz on Wednesday together before we move on to Chapter 2. If you have questions, raise your hand and I'll come around. Or if you're on Zoom, type in the chat. If you want to leave, maybe keep your Zoom open actually. And just if you can turn off your cameras. But if you have questions, let me know.